మిత్రులారా, బంధువులారా, మిత్రునా వనక్కం స్వాగతం to South Asia Maps. This is a education channel and your presenter here, Dr. J. Reddy. At South Asia Maps, I will bring you diverse fields of knowledge, Indology and human ecology, and uniqueness of the education channel is abstract ideas, concepts are brought to you in the form of icons, images, maps, abstractions to iconographic form so that the audience can easily grasp them. Mitranam, today we are discussing our human ecology, human predicament series, part 135. Hubbert peak theory or peak oil theory. I have made a subset of presentations so far, half a dozen or so, which I termed as laws or sayings or findings or discoveries of scientists or investigators, even though they may not be exactly like laws of physics, as laws of Newton's laws like that, or Mendelian laws and genetics. These are just a broader term. Whose findings or sayings have a major impact in contemporary civilization. It may not be exactly like human ecology where I have got most of my ideas, but I have put it because it broadly touches this in the same playlist area. I have added this one. This is our human ecology predicament, that is impasse, dilemma series. Dr. J. Reddy presentation. We are here 135. That is the Hubbert peak oil, peak of resources concept theory. You can see other laws before Dr. Bartlett, law of compounding or compound growth, and Joseph Tainter's how complex systems eventually simplify. That means the collapse essentially, declining due to diminishing law of diminishing resources. And Dr. Catton's too many people, too many aspirations, too much myopia law. Again, Dr. Bartlett, because food is essentially made with oil through industrial agriculture, human bodies consume food, so essentially we are made with oil. That is, our human bodies are oil. That law. Garrett Hardin's tragedy of commons. When you start putting excess cows into the commons, that is the grazing range, how that has implications to society, the using the kazana or public exchequer or commons and all those things. And previously, I have many that ecology series. You can look at them. These are all ecology series. So basic concepts: carrying capacity, takeover, drawing down, and a new world over. All these concepts, most of them comes basically from Overshoot BottleNeck book of Dr. Catton. Just I added my own understandings of the global system. All this Mitronam you can find at South Asia Maps JRD Education Channel. There are 600 and so, and partitioned into round about 70 or so playlist with 10, 15, 20 presentations. You can enjoy looking at them. South Asia Maps JRD. Marion King Hubbert, his image is here, 1903 to 89, was an American geologist, geophysicist. He worked as a well-known energy company called Shell. They have a research laboratory at a place called Houston, southern part of Texas, that is the north of Rio Grande River, adjoining the Great Plains of United States and also associated with the United States Geological Survey. He is well known for a theory or a curve called by his name Hubbert theory, Hubbert peak theory. Even though originally he enunciated this theory based upon his work on oil, It is a generic theory applies to almost all non-renewable diminishing resources. Here you see the basic curve. Hubbert curve is a bell-shaped curve. That means when you Hubbard peak theory says that for any given in a geographical area where you extract the oil, let's say in the Kowar oil field in the Persian Gulf in Saudi Arabia, KSA in the Jazir et al Arabia, or a country, or even a entire continent, entire planet Earth, island itself on the world, that is a geographical area. Individual oil producing region on the planet as a whole, the rate of petroleum production, that is extraction, follows a bell shaped curve. After certain time, that decline, that is called peak. Once this resource pass the peak stage, you can never produce that amount of oil in the forthcoming years. That is the peak. 1945, around about April, when FDR, popular American president Franklin Delano Roosevelt, passed away, maybe 3 4 weeks later, Hitler also passed away. World War practically ended. United States were the largest producer of oil on the planet Earth, largest consumer of oil on the planet Earth, largest exporter of oil planet Earth. He published his paper in a research conference almost 10 years, 11 years later. That was a very startling point at that time. His colleagues, contemporaries just ignored it and it was published. That is the he predicted based upon the data overall petroleum production in the United States contiguous states all joined together, that is south of 49 parallel essentially south of Canada, excluding Alaska and Hawaii, contiguous states, oil peak will occur round about between 65 or so 70, but actually happened in 70 in the contiguous state. Hubbard afterwards became very famous when oil production peaked in 1790. Remember, these dates in a very big event like that are not just critical. It will occur in a particular date, particular time, particular. So that's not possible. So it's a broad generic idea. So predicted. But later, Alaskan oil discoveries in Prudhoe Bay, those areas, during the Reagan's time also, it came, and actually, again, the US oil production started growing more. That is an exception rather than a rule because at that time, this were not there that much. So he talked only about the contiguous states that theory holds. After that is the peak theory. So, by the same data, he took all the data of oil productions, discoveries, existing fields, and he predicted that at global level, oil peak will occur around about 1995. And a lot of geologists, even Nature uh, or Science newspaper published, the daily important popular magazine published the peak of oil theory around about 2000 or so. So again, his discoveries after he passed away, and uh, he is hold his theory held in very good contention. That's what it means. So, based upon the same extension, the big concept, there is a peak concept now. There's the peak of many non-renewable resources when you start extracting them and using them. They reach the bell-shaped curve. Afterwards, the production extraction declines. Same as the fossil fuels, oil, coal, fossils, minerals. Even though still we have the coal, much but low quality coal now. Essentially, it is a bell shaped curve. Urea fertilizer, because essentially that is produced by a natural gas and biogas, a product of the oil industry. Phosphate rock is used to production of fertilizer, again a mineral and metal that is declining resource because entire industrial farming is based upon that, and we have almost reached the industrial farming peak. We will not be able to produce more agricultural product and food from that. It's essentially, if you put it in the socio-economic political concept, the peak of employment, peak of economic prosperity, peak of GDP of a particular nation, peaking of the consumerisms too, and essentially peak of socio-political exuberance has done. Now we see the lot of issues, the resource wars, the student visas not granted, restrictions are there, and immigration restrictions, deportations, recessions, high unemployment. All these are the symptoms of the basic thing because of this peak theory, peak of things, because we have now nearly 8100 million people, that is 8.1 billion people on the planet Earth, that is 810 crores in the terms of Indian designation. So it is at Marion King Hubbert biography. You can look at it, bull-shaped curve, and and all those things. Is Hubbert curve theory. Hubbert curve theory, the bell-shaped curve. Yeah, peak oil and peaking of other resources, coal, fissionable material, helium, copper. That means the water aquifers, food production, and fisheries, and all those things. The same concept uh, applies. So I have looked at that in other series of human ecology. You can see the we peaked producing the oil currently around about 100. I think 2024 around about 95 million barrels of oil. One barrel means 42 gallons of United States. Each is around about 3 something. So if you convert one barrel of oil, that will be 158 liters a barrel contains. This is a barrel, and that means 100 million means, see, today you produce 100 million, tomorrow you produce 100 million, tomorrow 100. This cannot go on forever. That is the serious implication of this. United States itself is consumes 19 mbl, more or less, sometimes 2018. Half of it contains comes from its territorial domain, and remaining half elsewhere from the Middle East are importing. So that cannot continue. So that is the serious implication. 100 million barrels means there is 100 million people also, maybe 110 in Egypt, Misr, Maghrebian country. That is 12th most populous country. If you put one barrel of oil and each person of an Egyptian, ask them to come and deliver it today. Again, tomorrow you have to put again 100 million barrels. So that is an enormous amount of oil you can contemplate. And uh, I have discussed this entire concept of fossil fuels. Jenny is like a demon or Satan, something like that. We unearthed it, the fossil fuels, and we are extracting. We unsequestered it, uh, and now there is a lot of issues. Coal pits, oil wells, gas fields. Humans cannot fill it. This is a non-renewable resource, and fossil fuel gene. I covered somewhere else, it overlaps. Essentially, modern civilization where 8100 humans, Homo colossus, are living like a hunters and gatherers. Previously, hunters and gatherers are considered to be very primitive people, hunting and finding the prey, gathering the excuse me, tubers and so on. Essentially, we are doing the same thing. Hunting, this is called discoveries at different terms. Gathering the oil every day, extracting 100 million barrels or 90 or so, running the fossil fueled civilization. Homo colossus, giant resource consumers. So, peak oil is a serious thing that we have to keep in mind, adjust it, and that gives the entire concept of the carrying capacity surpluses, carrying capacity deficits, phantom carrying capacity by burning of the oil based niches and creating a temporary military industrial complexes or mixed societies, socio political economic things. I discussed elsewhere, and you can look at it. That's what I wanted to talk about, this Hubbard to peak theory. Mitranam, hope this will uh, give you a good background of what its implications, how we will be affected. And if you like the presentations, you can post your comment, and it will be helpful if we can Subscribe the channel and bring it to the notice of your friends, similar audience, and the channel will be more popular, bringing the content to the similar audience. And thank you very much. Dhanyavad. And see you later. Other presentations, Dr. J. Reddy, South Asia Maps.